Welcome to MMRC. Dear friends, today we are going to discuss about the local administration, features, forms and problems. All the time we will talk about decentralization, democracy, people's participation, local people's participation and etc. What are these areas? Centralization and decentralization, these are the important principles of public administration. Centralization, it is centralization of authority. All decision making will be taken at central level. What is decentralization? Now, we are giving it to the local level. Devolution of the authority. Authority is not into a single person or a single body, it to the local level. Even in a government system, in India we have a three-tier system. For example, Government of India, whether we can call union government or federal government or central government. Take about state government or we can call it a provincial government from the jargon of international systems or etc. In other countries they call provincial governments, we are calling state governments. And the third tier is local government. You might have visited about a municipality, a panchayat, municipal corporation, mandal or a tahsil or a jilla parishad. All these are come under local government. Local government is an important tier of the three-tier system of government in our country. So, the local government is a bottom of the pyramid of governmental institutions of our national government at the top, state government at the middle, and the lower level of the pyramid is the local government. Local government is both rural and urban. We are calling about urban government is one, rural local government is one, urban local government, rural local government. We are having the ministries for this thing. In a Government of India, you have a rural minister, urban minister. At the state level, we have a rural minister and also the municipal minister. Whereas we are calling about panchayats, mandals and samitis or jilla parishad are part of the rural government system. Municipal corporations, municipal committees or municipalities, nagar panchayats, town areas, notified area committees, these are part of the urban government. Why this type of an exercise? Because if you take it about in India where we are having a more than 4,000 cities or towns and about 6 lakh village panchayats etc. This is because of the democratic decentralization. That is one of the pillars of Indian democracy. The democratic decentralization is one of the important area. This democratic decentralization is to achieve the goal of participatory democracy. What is a democracy? Whenever we discuss in the classes and even from the 7th class, 8th class onwards, we proudly say India is a democracy. What is a democracy? Democracy is people are going to elect their own government. And all government activities or administrative activities or executive powers, whoever is having, they are lower to the people elected government. Parliament or an assembly is the highest authority. Their decisions are important. The role of administration is only to implement it. So, whereas decentralization and the local government is concerned, Government of India embarked a different type of a series of experiments with a community involvement, how to take the people's participation, how to motivate the people to participate in the government activities, particularly at the grassroots. It was started with a different type of a things. As you know, you studied in the classrooms and books and other things, we can call is a community development program, CDP in the 1950s, which has actually created birth of village panchayats in India. That is what we start Balwant Rai Mehta committee, then Ashok Mehta committee, then a different type of experiments have taken place. All these were discussed in the previous parts, so I am not concentrating on that part. Now, after the 73rd constitutional amendment, this is one, till 1990 to 93 particularly, the local bodies are not having the constitutional recognition. Only after 1993, local bodies are part of the constitution. Previously, it was only a state level elections are conducted or not conducted. Decades together, there will be no elections for panchayats and jilla parishads, municipalities and municipal corporations. Suddenly, before elections here and there, government decides. All these were put an end. Now, because of the 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment, the rural local governments and urban local governments got a constitutional status. It means every 5 years you have to conduct elections. Whatever the part we are conducting elections for local parliament, assembly and also the local government. So, this is one of the important aspect of the decentralized democracy in India. Now, 1993 amendment, which actually we say the one of the revolutionary amendment we claim. Why? Because panchayats and other things have come under the justifiable part of the Indian constitution. As I said, elections are mandatory for the regular interval, that is for 5 years. State legislatures have been directed to give sufficient powers to the local bodies. For its functioning, you have to give the sufficient money. These are the important aspects. Another important aspect is that these local bodies are involved in preparing the and implementation of the plans for economic development, social justice in the areas and some other subject matters related to the 11th schedule of the constitutional amendment. For example, in the a different type of things are given subject matters like agriculture, land improvement, soil conservation, fisheries, khadi, village, all these are given to local bodies. Welfare of the weaker sections, in particularly about the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, groups, etc. These amendments, 73rd and 74th amendments are given, made a provision for reserving the seats in Panchayati Raj, women, SC/ST candidates. Particularly first time the women got a reservation, and now it was started about with the 33% and now it has reached to 50% in the local body elections, particularly at the panchayat level, municipal corporation level. You take about it, majority of the states are following about 50% reservations for the women in the local bodies. Finally, the state legislatures have been empowered to authorize the governments to make grants in aid to panchayats from the consolidated fund of the states are concerned. 73rd, 74 constitutional amendments have been implemented in all states. All legislative formalities have been completed, including the constitutional electoral procedures, but elections are yet to be completed in various states later part. Now, all over India, almost all the states are taking, except about northeast states, they are following about 73rd, 74th constitutional amendments. It was started in the historically 1990, where the time was the Prime Minister was VP Singh. A conference of the state chief ministers were organized, and they said first time they discussed about the structure of local bodies. Later by the P.V. Narasimha Rao, who has took the charge in the June 1991, has modified this amendment drastically and reproduced in the Parliament in the shape of 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment bill. It was passed by the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha in 1992. Then the rule was this amendment has to be approved by the 50% of the state assemblies. This is one of the important acts because they are amending the various state acts. The Amendment Act came into the force on 24th April 1993, on which date all provisions in various state acts that were, whatever the discussions are taken place, the provisions of the constitutional amendment ceased to remain in force. Many states had by then amend their own state acts also according to the 73rd, 74th constitutional amendment. 1950, we started an experiment of the community development program. Later with the first tier Panchayati Raj system given by the Balwant Rai Mehta, then some reforms are suggested by the Ashok Mehta, then by the 1990 VP Singh government tried to give constitutional status. The main provisions of the 73rd constitutional amendment can group into two categories. Category 1 is compulsory and category 2 is voluntary. What are the compulsory provisions? These are with a little bit change, both are the common in 73rd and 74th Amendment Act. 1. Organization of Gram Sabha. Creation of a 3-tier Panchayati Raj structure at Jilla, block and village levels. This has given a picture to all over India. The Panchayati Raj structure is the common now. We have a local level, a Gram Panchayat, and middle level about a block or other things, and top level is Jilla Parishad. All posts at all levels to be filled by the direct elections. The minimum age for contesting elections of a Panchayati Raj bodies were given about 21 years. Indirect elections to the post of chairman at the intermediate and apex tiers. Reservation seats for SC/STs in panchayats including the chairman and members according to the in proportion to their population. Reservation of women in panchayats, chairman and members up to 1/3 seats, which was said in 73rd and 74th constitution. Along with this, one of the important landmark is the creation of a state election commission to conduct the elections, and this tenure was fixed at 5 years, and if it is dissolved earlier, fresh elections could be conducted to be held within 6 months. And in order to review the financial position of the Panchayati Raj institutions, each state has to set up a state finance commission for 5 years. These are the important aspects actually given, and some of the 29 powers were given in the 11th schedule for the rural areas, Panchayati Raj things. But whenever we review it, what is the actual benefits are given? How we say it's a revolutionary act in the local bodies. It confers the status and dignity on Panchayati Raj bodies. A constitutional bodies, a constitutional base for the Panchayati Raj was required because state governments are not enthusiastic about the creation of Panchayati Raj bodies. Third important step is ensures the participation of weaker sections and the downtrodden, because the act provides a mandatory reservation for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes according to their population and women. The first time the woman also has got previously 33%, now the 50% has given to the women. This system ensures the adequate sources of the finance. So, the state level, one of the previously the failure of the Panchayati Raj system or a local body system is depend upon financial paucity has been one of the main causes of the failure of Panchayati Raj bodies. To remove this hurdle, the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act empowers the panchayats to levy and collect the appropriate taxes, duties, tolls and fees, etc. Also, according to the act, they would be entitled to get grants in aid from the consolidated fund of the state. It is not that a loan and other things, they are entitled to get their share from the consolidated fund of the state. To ensure adequate finances, the act also provides that the state governor has to appoint a finance commission to review and advise the state government on the principles governing distribution of the panchayats and nagarpalikas. A significantly a whole new schedule, that is we call about the 11th schedule, has drawn up to ensure the better utilization of the center state funds. The another important benefit is that protects the autonomy of the states while ensuring uniformity. This is one of the important thing. The local body should not think that Government of India made everything, now they are straight away taking everything from government. No, Panchayati Raj is a state subject, Nagarpalika urbanization is a state subject, and a legislation by the center in this area amounts a different type of a transgression in the autonomy of the states. However, the 73rd Amendment Act has incorporated adequate provisions to protect the autonomy of the states. For example, supervision and control of elections have given to the State Election Commission, and the commission is appointed by the state government. Framing laws relating to the audit and accounts have been left to the hands of the state legislatures. A power of appointment of a finance commission also is given to the state governments. Even composition of the panchayats and urban bodies has been left to the state. States have not been undermined by this amendment. All the powers of the state are given as it is and protected. There are some criticisms and some of the lacunae are there in this act. For example, the functions, powers and resources of the panchayats are not enumerated clearly. It means this is one of the major important hurdle, or we can say the criticism and lacuna in the act has been that it has a little to offer to the panchayats by way of functions, powers and resources to shape them as units of the government. Because the task has been given left to the state legislature to determine the past experience has shown that states are always reluctant to part with their powers. The discretionary powers by their very nature may defeat much avowed purpose of, that is, act of creating genuine units of the local self-government. This is one of the important aspect. Powers were withdrawn, powers were given and everything, but the powers, what type of powers to be given to the local bodies has given to the again state assemblies. Another important aspect is a misuse of the rotation system of reservation. Reservation scheme of the chairpersons of municipalities or a chairpersons of the panchayats and may be misused by the party in power at the state levels to weaken the stronghold of other opposition parties in regions of panchayats of the state. By invoking the rotational provisions, whenever and wherever the position is weak, the ruling party may gain the upper hand over the opposition parties. This may created some unwarranted situations because, so these are the some important aspects of the 73rd constitutional amendment and 74th constitutional amendment in general has taken place. Along with that, as I said about in the 11th schedule, we have given about 29 items which can be handed over to the village panchayats. But it has, when it has left given to the authority to the state to give it or not, majority of the state governments are not following, and moreover all over India only the two state governments have given about the 29 powers to the village panchayats, but not anything. At the same time, one of the important criticism here is that fails to mention the role of political parties. The Act has failed to mention about the role of political parties, neither the Act specified or mentioned about the working of the political parties. We cannot expect that because of the India is a, we talk as a political democracy, and without a political parties, without a political system, we cannot run a social system at the down level. We are expecting that local body elections, local systems are going to be without a political parties. It cannot be accepted. In reality, what is happening, though we are conducting at the local level bodies without a party symbols and other things, but automatically the ruling party and others are going to show their domination. First part of this discussion about the local government in India, we have discussed some of the important areas. Number 1, decentralized democracy in India. Number 2, the experiments of the decentralization governments in India. Number 3, 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act and important provisions of it. Number 4, the important advantages of the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendments. Write an essay on decentralized democracy in India. Number 2, critically evaluate and review the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act.